What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're doing some league racing around the French Grand Prix. You'll notice I'm in a different car right now, and that is because I'm actually doing SRL. If you guys have been subscribed to the channel since like F1 2017, you'll know that I did Apex Online Racing and SRL synonymously at the exact same time. So this is only a one-off. I got invited by Ryan or Warden, I actually can't remember. They said, oh, we got some space, do you want to have some practice since it's the same circuit, the same timing as AOR, just 2 days before, so I thought, yeah, why not, let's give it a go. Qualifying was not great for me. I can't remember what happened. I think I didn't cross the line in time to start my final lap on the super soft tyres, so that was pretty much out the window. But away we go for this race. This first race here is going to be very, very condensed, very, very cut down. It's only going to be a recap of what happened. The main focus will be AOR, of course. Neon Tree Dome, unfortunately getting spun out there at the exit of turn 2, so that's a position lost for him. HO got off to an amazing start, by the way, if you didn't notice. He came from absolutely nowhere to jump us off the line, well, after the third or fourth gear change. We get him back in the run through to the middle sector now, onto the straight, back up into P10, or up into P10 for the first time, shall I say, in this Grand Prix, so not bad. We're on the soft compound tyres, the hardest compound on offer here at France, so we're playing the long game, playing the strategy game. It's so damn easy to overtake at this circuit, so I thought, let's give this a go. We'll overcut everyone. The ultra soft strategy. Oh, that's Fen spinning out into the off-field, into the infield. Words escape me, it seems. We're looking for a move here on Exodona, who's on the super soft tyres. Yeah, like I said, overtaking is so damn easy around this circuit. And it's a very slipstreamy kind of circuit. You run a lot of like low downforce, heavy battery use, heavy fuel use. It's all a big slipstream fest, and playing ourselves later on into the Grand Prix, I think might be the winning strategy for us. So we'll have to wait and see how it goes. If we can cut through the traffic very well, then we might be a chance for a podium in this one. But heading into this, I did absolutely no practice. This race is my practice for AOR, if that makes sense, but we're making good progress at the moment. A lot of people are starting to make their stops. We're now overtaking the super soft runners, who are now starting to feel the effects of tyre wear with their tyres, and then being the leader of the soft compound runners. It wasn't long before we assumed the lead of the Grand Prix before making our stops. So yeah, a lot of the people on the supers were experiencing overheating on their fronts, so that was an issue for them to deal with. As we just got faster and faster into the Grand Prix, but it looked like we were kind of losing a lot of time once everyone bolted on their new tyres. The undercut at this circuit is absolutely insane. The amount of benefit that you get from a fresh tyre versus any other circuit on the F1 calendar just seems to be like so much more potent than anywhere else. It's quite insane. But we rejoined the circuit. We're on the super soft tyres now. A very short 12-lap sprint to the end now. From when we made our pit stop to the end now, and it's just down to us to overtake these two cars, and then we chase down the race leaders on their old softs. So here we go. Overtake mode is engaged on that laggy person. We're going to dive to the inside at this next left-hander at the chicane. Fens is up next. He's broken really early there, and he has been spun out there from us there, which is unfortunate. It was just the lightest of touches. The lightest of touches. Might have even been lag. I'm not too sure if I actually touched him. It's hard to tell because the front wing isn't quite there alongside. But it's very unfortunate that I spun out Fens there. I didn't know he was going to break so damn early there, but apologies. It's the last lap of the Grand Prix now. We're trying to chase down New Zealand Ryan. He does have one extra penalty than us, but we go and get an extra one for ourselves on the last lap. And that penalty made all the difference because we finished 2.9 seconds behind Ryan. If not for that last penalty, we would have actually beaten him and got on the podium there in this French Grand Prix. So that was the race. Seemingly losing a lot of time in the middle part of the race when everyone else kind of undercut us and was on fresh softs versus our older ones. So that was a bit frustrating that we weren't able to make up as much of a difference as what I thought I could. We were mega fast at the start of that super soft stint. But then, after that, we didn't make any inroads, and some laps were actually slower than the guys on their older softs, which is really puzzling. But here we are now for the main event. This is Apex Online Racing, the league racing series that you guys see on Sunday nights if you guys tune in live on Sunday night. Sunday mornings maybe if you're from the UK. But here we go. We're actually going to qualify on the soft compound tyres and do the exact same strategy as what I did in SRL. I thought about doing the super strategy, but you know, there was only 13 people or 12 people showing up for this race. So that's not many people to overtake and get back into the fray of the battle with the leaders. So I thought we might be able to get away with a really good strategy here if we just sacrifice a little bit of track position early. We know how OP these tyres are 5 laps into the Grand Prix. I've got a better setup on now. I've done more practice. I feel like I'm more eyed into this circuit now as opposed to the league race I did 2 days ago. So we might be every chance of winning this race. Who knows? But so far we're just on our qualifying lap, and you know, for me there was absolutely no pressure on me at all to get a time in. I was quite happy to start last in this Grand Prix. I was giving the soft compound tyres a go, seeing where I'd qualify. If we banged in a really good time and got ourselves like 5th, 6th, 7th place, that'd be amazing. If it was a really bad lap and I got knocked outside the top 10, who cares? I'm starting on the soft compound tyres anyway, but we'll see what we can do. All the front runners are all on the super soft tyres. We're 5/10ths down on New Zealand Ryan's best time on the softs, which are, on the super soft, sorry, which are 1 compound softer than mine. So that's actually pretty close, given the tyre difference. But across the line for us, it is a 1:30.341. And on the soft compound tyres, I feel like that's a really good time. That's a really good time for me, considering I don't feel too confident at this circuit. But it's 10th place. We do qualify inside the top 10. Greek Master, for reference, was only 2/10ths faster than us. And Greek Master, I've got to say, is being the benchmark for AOR this season. And, you know, he practices religiously this season. And for me to be so close to him, I'm very happy with that. So we're heading into this race with a lot of confidence. We're starting on the softs, going to the supers to finish off this race. And yeah, we're having to contest with a lot less cars in this one. There were 18 runners in SRL, only 12 in AOR today. So anything can happen. If there's a safety car, my goodness, we are in the game in the second half of this race. But I don't even think we'll need that. I think we'll be pretty much set if we can get through the traffic. 5 red lights, and away we go for AOR. It's been an okay start. It's very hard to get off the line with the soft compound tyres, but everyone else behind us on the exact same strategy. Looking pretty aggressive on this first lap. I want to see if I can make up as many positions as I humanly can. That's kind of what bogs me down in SRL, as I didn't get too many positions off the first lap. We get past Greek Master. Very, very aggressive with him there. I didn't actually know that we made contact, but it was ever so slight into turn 2. Next up is DLG Gamble. We could make a move on him if we are so inclined to do so to push the point, but didn't really get a nice run through there. I could have dived up the inside into that right-hander, but decided to wait for a little bit. We might see if the slipstream can look after us quite well here. Running with 2.6 wings, so low downforce setup. Not as low as DRC Jared, who's running with like 1.6. So he'll be having a bit of understeer, but he'll be pretty pacey in a straight line. So it's New Zealand Ryan leading the way with Warden on the ultra soft tyres. Warden is the only person in this field who qualified on the qualifying tyre, so he's going to be falling through this field like an absolute stone in water. So watch out for him in the latter half of this stint. But a lot of traffic at the moment. This is kind of hurting our race a little bit, so we'll see if we can make our way through this traffic, but we need to do so cleanly and we need to do so effectively without losing too much time. It looks like it's V Fens, Greek Master's teammate, who is the cork in the bottle here. Let's just calm things down as we get ready to unleash hell in this French Grand Prix. Let's just wait for an opening if we can. We could dive up the inside into turn 1. We do so. The LG Gamble leaves the space. He knows we're pretty fast in this Grand Prix, given that we're on the soft compound tyres. We're only going to get faster, so it probably makes sense for him to tuck in behind, save a bit of fuel, save a bit of battery, and make moves with me as I make them myself. But yeah, lap 3, you can see I've kind of lowered the tempo a little bit. I'm saving my battery now in the more technical parts of the circuit. We're getting ready for the OP part of the race, where we're going to have a massive advantage in terms of tyres. At the moment, we're still not quite there in terms of pace. Over some of these guys, that's Neon Tridome, who is out of the Grand, well, not out of the Grand Prix, but he's been spun out by Quicksilver, it seems. He's run out wide and squeezed us off the circuit as well. So all this has slowed us up massively in this French Grand Prix. Let's see if we can make this move on Quicksilver. Not too sure if he has front wing damage or not, but we slice up the inside. A bit of a switchback move. It turns to the outside for us, and we get the move done around the outside into the final corner. So that is P6 for us. Just as I was saying that we were going to lower the tempo, we were going to wait for these guys' tyres to die off a little bit. I'm not too sure if that was, in the end, the right strategy, or whether I really should have kept pushing the ladder a little bit more in terms of getting track position and just making sure the gap stays as minimal as possible to the cars in front. But what's happened has happened. We have been held up a little bit with that incident with Quicksilver, but you know, that's all in the past. You can't do anything about that now. But what we have done is caught up massively to Warden99, who is now absolutely dying on his ultra soft tyres. He's had them on for 6 laps. These tyres are really only good for about 7 or 8 laps before they really die off. So he's struggling for tyre temps, struggling for grip, and I'd probably want to say as well, maybe struggling for battery as he tries to keep up the best pace he possibly can at this point, where the tyres just have absolutely nothing left to give at this point. So we're in the slipstream. He doesn't fight it too hard. I know he's letting us go through here. He knows that we have much more pace, and for Warden, he can actually gain a little bit of time following us and saving his battery and fuel at the same time. But I'd imagine he'd probably pit at the end of this lap, or maybe at the start of the next one, depending on how he wants to take the rest of this race. He dives in earlier at the end of lap 6 and is taking his tyres all the way to the end. That's going to be quite the stretch, making those soft compound tyres last all the way. Fens a little bit more comfortable for him. He should be able to make it just about, but he's going to have a massive undercut. That's the thing that I talked about at the start of this video, the undercut. For everyone on the Ultras and even for the Supers, they are stopping a little bit earlier than what they were planning to. Ryan and Jared responding to both Fens and Warden, who stopped 2 or 3 laps ago. The strategy, or the optimal race strategy, is actually to take the Supers to lap 10, 11, 12, and then go to soft. So those guys are trying to minimize the effect of the undercut that those guys are getting, and it might slow them up towards the end of the race, which will further play into my hands a little bit. But we now lead the Grand Prix. We're on the soft compound tyres like we've always been. We're starting to feel the effects of tyre wear now, where our pace is slowly starting to get knocked around. We're about 2 seconds a lap slower than Ryan and Jared, for example, who are on their fresh soft compound tyres. So this is the part of the race that's very costly for me. I wanted to get off these tyres as quickly as what I could. It's a lap earlier than what I did in SRL. Ricard, maybe not as experienced with this strategy. He stays out the extra lap and is going to get undercut by me quite massively. But he might come back towards us towards the end of the Grand Prix. I'd imagine with Greekmaster's pace, he was closing in on me at the back end of that soft compound tyre stint, so I'd imagine that he'll be doing pretty much the same thing again towards the end of this race. But here we go. This is the battle once again. This happened in SRL. I encountered heavy traffic on my fastest lap attempt 2 days ago, and here we are again, encountering traffic again. This race 2 days ago is when we spun out Fens, and now we're on the back of Fens again. Will he treat us the same? Will he let us go? We'll have to wait and see. Warden, we made quick work of him. He recognized that we were just way faster than what he was at this point, and I think Fens is kind of letting us go through here as well. So absolutely cutting through the traffic at the moment now. It's P4. Next up is HO. So all the guys who started on the super soft tyres now are about 7-8 seconds up the road. Let's see the gap now. It is 10.9 seconds, so a much larger margin than what I anticipated. That's the fastest lap of the Grand Prix for myself there as well. So for reference, when we cleared all the traffic on our soft compound tyres at the start of the race, the gap between me and HO was 7 seconds. It was 11 seconds, so we've lost quite a bit of time there, and now we need to make it up. But as was the case in the last race, we just seem to struggle. We have this initial burst of pace, and then all of a sudden we just have nothing. The super softs overheat quite drastically on the fronts, and the softs really come into their own at the end of the race, despite them being much, much older So it looks like this strategy hasn't quite paid off for us today. It's going to be P4 at most. We've got 6 seconds worth of penalties against our name at the moment. Greek Master, from what I know, doesn't have any penalties. So it's looking likely that Greek Master is going to finish in front of us in this Grand Prix no matter what, but we're going to put up the fight nonetheless anyway and see if we can take the fight to Greek Master here. We're going to squeeze him just a little bit just to keep things interesting, and through to the middle sector chicane we completely overshoot, and that is the end of that battle. Couldn't believe it. 26 laps building up to that battle with Greek Master, and we throw it away in one go. If you look to my bottom right hand corner of the screen, I was playing with my fuel on my ERS modes, and I left it too late. I actually missed my braking marker because I was flicking it down to low deployment, and then that was it. That was the end of my battle with him. We got a corner cut warning at the same points as what we did in SRL 2 days ago, and it's just uncanny how similar this race was to SRL 2 days ago. But in the end, it's P5, solid points. At least we finished today, which is a positive given the horrible start to AOR we've had in the first few weeks before I left for the UK. I suppose I'll take it. Oh my goodness, that is a massive crash. There we go, guys. That has been the French Grand Prix around Paul Ricard. Believe it or not, we've been, what, 16 minutes into this video and I haven't said the circuit name yet. All I've said is the French Grand Prix. But there you go. That is your race. DRC Jared is your race winner. Ryan got a stop-go penalty, so that ruled him out of contention for the win. Those guys just worked very well together. They were slipstreaming each other, saving battery while battling in a cooperative kind of way, pulling it away from the rest of the field. HO did really well to stay with him for the majority of the race. We were getting some front wing damage, I believe. And for me and Greek Master, the strategy just wasn't quite there in the end. Once again, it's yeah, it's a little bit frustrating. I feel like the pace was decent, but at the same time, probably still not as good as like Ryan and Greek Master and Jared, for example. So I kind of know what I'm doing wrong. I need to, like, in the future, just get on the same strategy as these guys, not have to work so hard to just make the pace myself. That seems to be the problem at the moment. All these guys are, you know, working together with slipstream and stuff to pull away, whereas we were kind of out there on our own and we got held up in traffic a lot. There's a lot of excuses, but there you go. We need to practice more and make sure these things don't happen in the future. Though in saying that, if I had better pace, I probably would have been a lot closer to make things work in the end. But either way, the results is what we deserved in the end there. So thank you guys so much for watching. You guys will have seen the results or the championship at the moment. We're still in P8, I believe. Stringing together some consistent results now. Hopefully this can be the start of a few podiums and better pace going forward. The next race is the Austrian Grand Prix. It's a track in the past which I've done pretty well at, so hopefully I can find some form there and launch my championship campaign on the constructors for both of us. Still second in there and trucking along quite nicely, trying to chase down Williams. But guys, that's it from me today. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more F1 2018 content. And until the next race, the Austrian Grand Prix, I'll see you next time.